All right, I got confirmation. We're going to be talking to Tom in about 5 minutes. So what that tells me, pretty much, I mean, I should probably prepare some questions for Tom, but I'm going to go in kind of blind because I'm just feeling like a blind idiot tonight, and I don't really care. You know what I mean? Anyway, Tom is cracked in Fortnite. Is Tom actually good at Fortnite now? Oh, yeah, we're joining a call right now. Alrighty, sounds good.
Calling him.
Yo, what's up?
What's up, bro? I'm doing good. I've been live for 10 hours and 16 minutes, so I'm feeling pretty cracked. How about you?
Bro, I was gonna say, are you like, how are you maintaining these hours, my friend? It's getting a little bit concerning. Are you potentially ignoring other aspects of your life to prioritize?
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You're like,
I'm ignoring everything. I forgot I was supposed to have dinner with my family today. And my dad was texting me like,
God.
"Yo, what's up?" And I was like, sorry, I'm playing Fortnite on stream right now."
That's funny because I know you would absolutely text that exact statement to your father.
Yeah, and he was like, we figured it out.
No,
like, oh, okay,
that's awesome. Oh my god, are you at least like, did you win today at least? Like, you've been playing Fortnite pretty much.
I got one victory royale today, so I feel like that's decent. Bro,
you realize half of the 2Mad video you were playing Fortnite, right? Or the interview, sorry.
Which is hilarious.
It's incredibly hilarious. It's iconic, in fact. I would venture to say.
I've basically been streaming through my cope about that video getting taken down.
Bro,
I was just so pissed last night. I was just like, I just need to stream.
No, dude. Yeah, let's talk about that because I'm really confused. First of all, is it just a privacy complaint, or is it YouTube like completely preeminently just attacking your nuts and just taking you down? Right?
So,
like, do you understand what I'm saying? Because what I understood was that Henry Resilient, he got an actual privacy complaint, like, you know, submitted by, I'm assuming, like James Gear's, you know, team, whatever. Sorry, go on though. You tell me what happened.
So it wasn't actually a privacy complaint. I don't know if it was James Key. I don't know if he has a YouTube contact. I have no evidence that it was him in any way. I can tell you everything that I know, and then we can go from there. Okay.
Yeah.
So, as you know, in our stream, 2Med showed us a video from the night of the supposed sexual assault. In that video, I would say there was no actual assault, but it was clearly like talking about the topic, right?
Yep.
So I post my video, and obviously I included a bunch of that video that he showed us. I think there was like 4 or 5 minutes of it in my video.
Yep.
Video's doing really well. You know, anger.
It was doing amazingly well. It was doing amazingly well. Yeah.
It was. Yeah. In my opinion, it angered the right people, and I think it told the story very well. I don't. Did you watch the entire thing or no?
Yeah.
Okay. In my opinion, it was like a very cogent, well put together, interesting video, and I think it told the story the best that it's been told up until this point. So I post the video. It's doing really well. The next day around like 1 p.m., it goes down on YouTube. I check my email. They said I violated their policy on audio, visual, something of violent sexual assault. So I'm like, what the fuck is this? So
sounds like the worst thing ever. Sounds like you just committed a serious crime.
Like a rape.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Right? So I basically go through the video, and I'm like, what could this possibly be? And the best thing I could speculate was it was the footage from that night of the alleged assault.
And they don't give you any specifics.
Well, they didn't at first. They didn't give me any. So they sent me an email at the same time as they hit me, and they were like, hey, I'm a YouTube, I don't know, moderation team guy, individual, and I'm letting you know we took your video down for this. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? Can I get a timestamp? A few more emails later, I get a timestamp. It's like 1 hour and 7 minutes. I go to the video. Sure enough, it was footage of that night. So I email them back, and I'm like, hey, can you explain to me how this is footage of sexual assault? Like, obviously, it's about the topic of sexual assault, but camera's pointed at the ceiling. There's no obvious sexual assault on cam. So I'm pretty confused by this. I'm pretty confused with what's going on. They haven't gotten back to me, so I don't really know where to go from there. I ended up just re-uploading the video without that footage, which I think is annoying because I feel like that's an important part of the story. But
yeah,
if I can't show it, I can't show it. But it's weird because it's still up on my second channel, and I didn't get a strike or a warning or anything. Like I didn't get anything.
No
like that,
way. I was gonna ask that.
Yeah, I feel like I should like, if you violate community guidelines, it's my understanding that they won't always hit you with a strike if your channel's in good standing, but they'll at least give you a warning, right? Like that's normal.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't get anything like that. I didn't get any warning. I didn't get any penalty on my channel. I just had that video taken down.
The only thing so yeah, that's what confused me as well, because I saw that Henry Resilient was saying like, I have the only version of Turkey Tom's video available. And so basically he reacted, I believe, to the whole thing effectively.
His video is still up.
Exactly, yeah. So it's not even like a content ID thing. It's not like a, you know,
it's not in their system. Like someone specifically found the video and was like,
it's like an employee taking initiative or something strange.
Which is why it's so perplexing for me. And obviously, like the video getting nerfed and not getting as many views is not the biggest concern. The biggest concern is telling the story. But I'm obviously still pissed about the fact that, you know, the other day I had a 3 out of 10 video and now I have a 9 out of 10 video. Obviously, I'm pissed about that.
No, I mean, look, I experienced something similar where it's like, I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but like the 2 Mad video that you released obviously has been in the works for a long time. It's been something that you've put, I would, like, you tell me, but like I could tell like you put a lot more passion and time into it than any other video in a while.
In the average video, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. and it's like again, obviously I had a similar thing with the Sneeko video I released. And then, you know, literally within, I think, 24 hours of mine being released, it gets taken down for 2 days. Thank God it came back up, but like it totally, absolutely, it throttled like the momentum. You know what I mean? Like imagine like opening weekend of a fucking movie, the literally like 2 out of the 3 days that it releases, it's just gone. And then in your case, it's like even worse, right? Because it's like you had to basically re-upload the video. And so all of that momentum basically that, you know, came that first day, which was really genuinely incredible. I was like, to be honest, I was like glad in a sense because I do like the more like the moral kind of that you took again, like analogous, like, you know, you had a message in this video. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, there's some of my videos just like I don't know what the fucking message is.
Yeah, like
really one in this.
The super mega video I thought it was actually funny, but at the end of it you were just like, what does this all mean? I don't fucking know. You know what I mean? Whereas with this one you could tell there's like a total tonal difference, right?
Yeah, exactly. And now way less people get to see and hear the story. So, I mean, that sucks. Maybe the video will do well long term. I don't know. I probably shouldn't cope about it that much. But I mean, obviously, when you spend a bunch of time and thousands of dollars on a video, you're going to be kind of pissed about the fact that you're probably not going to get much out of that. So yeah, that blows. But you know, take it on the chin. On to the next video. I'm still going to work with YouTube behind the scenes to get the video back up. Maybe it'll work. I don't really know, but I have an avenue that potentially I can exploit. What was the deal with the Sneeko video? That went down for copyright, right?
Yeah. So I got a false copyright claim for 2.5 days. Like, it's funny because I was live streaming when this happened, and it was literally like a victory lap stream, and I have my exact face and my reaction when I'm like, oh no, like what the and so yeah, the next 2 days were like, you know, stressful, whatever. Thankfully it came back. But yeah,
kill the momentum completely.
Yeah, it completely killed the momentum, like right there. Thank God for you, Achito, and Oompaville. Like, you were the 3 big ones that I remember covering it, and like there was a wave that came from that. Especially like you gave it a good juice like a couple days after it got reinstated. Like, that was really good. And then like a week or 2 weeks later, when I almost had pretty much lost hope of like bigger YouTubers covering it, Oompaville just like YOLO'd this, you know, big video. That it's funny because I've said this a lot now, but it's like it does fascinate me. I love it, by the way. This is fantastic. But Oompaville uploaded a video kind of summarizing the Sneeko video, and it got over 1 million views in like 24 hours or some shit like that. Like, it was like, actually, even for Oompaville, it was like a big upload, you know what I mean? And that's great for me because it's like glazing me, but it is fascinating because it like Oompaville's upload has more views than mine, right? So it's like the algorithm is weird sometimes, but yeah, fucking thank God for you two. Yeah. But
it's funny how that works. It was shocking because his video, I checked on it the other day because I didn't watch this when it came out because I'd already seen your video.
Fair enough.
But it had almost 2 million views.
That's, dude, and I was like confused initially because I was like, this is like, for Oompaville even, that was like doing numbers, right? Like yeah, it went well. It was a good title and thumbnail, but yeah, no,
the thumbnail was like hilarious.
Yeah,
like,
it was very funny.
Bullying me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, that was awesome. Yeah, but yeah, but like basically what I'm saying is that I got literally like crippled out the gate. And thanks to basically like organic marketing, you know what I mean? It got re-picked up in the algorithm.
Did he tell you he was going to do that, or did he just do it?
He actually asked permission, and of course, it's funny because he asked in an almost not timid, but like he was asking in like a way as if he was inconveniencing me. And I was like, bro, are you fucking kidding me? Like, absolutely, I would love it if you covered this. Oh, man. Because usually it's like, I don't know, like, I mean, I've reached out to a good amount of YouTubers, and I don't, like, hold grudges if people don't cover shit, because it's like, you know, they know what's best for the channel. But, like, let's just say, at that point, I did not expect Oompaville or anyone to really even, like, offer, right? Like, maybe if I begged, but I didn't even have to beg or whatever, so... Yeah,
that's definitely a position I've been in before where I know I'm like somewhat of a controversial person to like some of the audience. So when Oompaville, because I covered the Meat Canyon editor drama, and when he put me in his video, I was pretty surprised that he even put me in, because I was like, I feel like he might get shit for even having me in here, but you know, whatever.
No, yeah,
can't complain.
Yeah, and I'm kind of similar in the sense that I'm pretty unproven, like different, I would say, than you, because I'm not like hyper controversial or whatever.
Yeah.
Not that you're hyper controversial, but you're definitely.
I mean, I'd say relatively. Yeah.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah, but like what I'm saying though is just that I'm just not like proven. Like my name in an algorithm isn't like a thing that'll work or whatever, or like at least not proven to work yet. But you know, we're working on it. But yeah. I mean, okay? So again, with a call out video like the Sneako video, you know, it makes sense that there's like, it's more of a spectacle, there's more hype around it. But with a video like this video, which is a lot more somber, it is more depressing. It is less of like a kind of, you know, celebration in a lot of ways. Do you think that there's any long-term potential for people to kind of cover this as a story that's like worth talking about? Or do you think that the second, it's funny, do you think that basically now that he's dead, and there's not much to say about him, that most people won't be interested? You get what I mean?
The problem for most people isn't that he's dead, because obviously, I mean, I got a bunch of views from it. I think the people's problem is the Twitter audience is so cancer that like my video, the day it came out, there was a tweet, I think 2 tweets with like 40, 50,000 likes being like, I'm glad he's dead, basically. And like screenshotting my thumbnail and being like, this is the guy who defends over and over, and when they're asked what pedophile I defend, they didn't have anything to explain, but you know, that's just how it is on Twitter, basically. But I think that that's probably the biggest concern for most channels is like the shit you get on Twitter for talking about this and viewing that as anything but a pedophile, you're gonna get a lot of shit. So it's just probably not worth it. And I don't necessarily even blame these people, because you know, the ire of this Twitter mob is like, ultimately it doesn't affect you that much, but I understand people's perception, and these people being on your ass is not something you want, you know.
When you say it's not something you want, what do you mean by that? Like, do you think that it's an actual threat to your career, or it's just like an annoying, like a mosquito bite? Like, what's the level?
I think that for someone like Oompaville, it probably is not to his benefit to be seen when he's trying to run his candy company and have like a successful business, or even someone like Mudahar. It's not to their benefit to have these Twitter sycophants on your ass spreading lies about you. And so from that perspective, I don't blame them at all, because there's this perception of certain commentary channels that they like are just like rape defenders, basically, and they don't want to be lumped in with that. And even though like obviously the video is not a rape defense video, I don't blame people for not wanting to get that stigma on them, because that kind of stigma sucks, and it's hard to dispel. You know, I was talking today about with my chat, I was like, is there anything I could feasibly do to dispel these crazy narratives while people think about me? And ultimately came to the conclusion that probably not. It's probably just not worth even engaging with these bad faith actors.
Yeah, no, I hear you. You definitely are somebody who's like more willing to fight, if that makes sense. Like more willing to kind of just fucking dance around with them.
Yeah, a little bit. I guess I feel like it's more enriching to me to tell the story than to like have these people like me, you know? Yeah,
I'm not against telling the story at all. I'm not like saying you shouldn't tell, you know, a story you feel like is worthwhile. It's more like responding to them on Twitter, right? Like kind of just fucking around on Twitter.
Yeah, with this in particular, I didn't, because I didn't think it would benefit me to get dunked on Twitter by 40,000 likes being like, you defended a p***o, so I was just like avoiding it, because I just knew the ratio would be crazy.
Yeah, it's I mean, this is a real phenomenon that you're bringing up here, which is like, okay, this is super real, all right? I don't know how to approach saying this, but it's like, okay, there are allegations that come out as honestly, recently pretty regularly, like kind of surprisingly regularly. And there's, I guess, you know, a question you could ask of like, what's the ethics of covering allegation content? Obviously, we've both done that before. It's more about like just taking it from a kind of neutral, or at least like, you know, nuanced stance, trying to understand what the hell happened, not just like jumping on the bandwagon. But there is a real like stigma that you take on immediately when you cover these things, which is like, you know, if you give basically too much credence or too much good faith to the accused, you know, you can be an apologist, really easily labeled as an apologist. Or, you know, even the opposite, because you can get to a point where, and I think I've seen this with, you can correct me if I'm wrong just because I'm not too super dialed in, but I think I've seen this with Chud Logic where it's like your fan base almost, you kind of get to the point where your fan base is like too excited to on a woman, if that makes sense. Like they're too, like if you kind of like empathize or like try and like, you know, give too much good faith to the accuser, then you also kind of get, if that makes sense. So like actually, right. Yes. like dealing with these allegations, it's like such a genuine grenade that you're handling, right? Where it's like there's not that much to gain, and I think that is the reason why the types of channels that cover these allegations, like because on paper, if we're talking like numbers wise, it is like. Since there's not that many people who are willing to cover it, there is a potential benefit to covering it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, undoubtedly, like there's a market for it. But what you're talking about is real, where there's simultaneously a market on Twitter of people who are excited to see someone be a pedophile, and then there's a market on YouTube where people are excited to see a woman lie about a man.
Yes, that's total. Yeah, okay, yeah. I'm glad that I'm not like hallucinating that. But like the big thing that I'm kind of getting at is like I was so dialed into the super mega, you know, drama situation, accusations, whatever you would say, and there was even, I remember I think it was To Be Honest, but there was like basically other big YouTubers who were like vaguely referencing it, kind of like somewhat intrigued, but they just
the super mega stuff, you mean?
Yeah, like they were talking, like I think it was maybe Dolan Dark, because he has like a joke slop channel, right? And I think in one of his slop videos, he was basically just like, yeah, I don't want to fucking deal with this shit. And in my mind, it's like, there's basically an equation that goes off in most like bigger content creators' heads, which is like, I would rather cover this like, what's it called? Willy Wonka scam that I don't even know what the fuck that was about, but like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like almost like kind of just trendy, fun news, instead of like, you know, these like allegations that I can fuck up potentially, and I actually have to put time into like looking into, or else I get like crucified. Right. But the where I'm going with this rant is that like I realized, you know, through the super mega thing, because I kind of covered the super mega thing, it was like super convenient in a way timing, where it's like I was just about to do stream, I was like, what the fuck should I talk about? And then this happened. And then I realized slowly, I was like, oh, as I was like kind of trying to report it, I realized like, oh, this is tough. Like, this is not easy to report on this shit.
Right.
But obviously, right, like that was the, you know, first kind of bump, you could say, that like my clips channel got, and I immediately understood.
Yeah, those videos have like, I think one of them has like 70,000 views, one of them has like 40,000. Anything with Nick is not green in the title is bound to get over 10K on that channel.
Let's be clear. I talked about this with you, but like I was way more comfortable leaning into Nick is not green, because it's like, again, I covered you know, Lex's video literally when it came out. I was editing, I was trying to like, you know, really trying to understand what happened, and then Nick is not green just uploaded his video, which was just like puking, like just like literally just total vomit. Yeah, total dog shit. Just like
20 nabo.
Yeah, horrible. And yeah, so in my mind I was just like, holy fuck, like, and I don't know if you remember the vibe then, but it was like so weird because nobody talked about that. Like, nobody was really talking about like the fact that Nick did that. Like, you know, the public opinion was on their side. It took time. It took a lot of time for that to kind of
That's the thing with these situations. It's a very big uphill battle, but it's also like, especially when you're covering it live, like this is the problem that I have with the Katie Bugs thing, where as soon as Katie made her first stream, everybody was like, oh, septum piercing, she lied. And you have to avoid playing into that, and you have to take a neutral stance and not like try to please the audience too much, because what they want is that kind of story. And I know why they want it, because it's kind of an exciting thing. Obviously, it's a fun story to cover a false accuser who gets owned, okay? Obviously, it's funny, so I get it. But at the same time, you have to not play into that audience. You have to maintain neutrality for as long as possible. And then when you get the other side, and if they're right, then you can come out and be like, okay, well, here's the real story. She did lie. There's XYZ. But like with all these allegations, like at first, you really do have to be careful with how you cover it, because you don't want to be a fucking victim blaming whatever, you know? Yeah,
and that's I was gonna bring it back to the 2-man video, where it's like you and I think there was definitely a point during that live stream that we hosted where we interviewed 2Mad, where we realized like, oh shit, this is not YouTube.
This guy's fucked.
No. Beyond that though, we realized like this is a level above our like qualification. You know what I mean? Where it was like,
yeah,
like we basically, because again with this allegations content, I'd like to say that you and I are, basically, try to be fucking like careful at the very least, or at least conscious of what the fuck we're actually saying. But then when it comes to a situation like that, right, it would have been really fucking easy for us to kind of have fucked that up, and I do think, I don't even know how I would say, we did with that interview, but like, we got a lot of information, right? Like at the very least, and I feel like,
I mean, that clip that got taken off YouTube was cited in the court case. So
yeah,
I mean, that's pretty interesting.
No, exactly, yeah, and it's like, and it's funny because that probably is part of why YouTube stepped in, because it's like we were both aware, yeah, this is like not just us. We were involved in the actual case, you know what I mean? Like we accidentally self-inserted.
We basically live streamed part of a confession.
yeah, it was kind of, in a sense, it felt like like a Jim Can't Swim, like a fucking police interrogation to an extent. But the weird thing was is that you were playing Fortnite, and we were and literally the title of your stream was like, I got a feeling about tonight, and then mine was like the fucking chillest Gokanaru stream of all time. It's
the thing is, I did have a weird, it sounds so strange to say, I did have a weird feeling about that night. I felt, I don't know, just something felt, I had like a stomach ache or something. I had like a stomach ache before I went live. And I like had some weird feeling, and I'm not saying that like this is a real cosmic thing, but it's just funny that I had like a weird feeling, and that's why I titled it that off a whim. And then that night was like the most fucked stream I've done, even since then. Like,
no, yeah, I like, okay, like even the Sneeko shit that I pulled off with the white rabbit thing, like that's cool and all that, but like it wasn't as unpredictable in my mind as like what happened that night, right? Like, yeah, I don't know. The biggest thing for me was just trying to understand, like, yes, I'm not saying there's any cosmic thing either, but it's like, yeah, I titled it the most chill Gokanaru stream of all time, and it was quite literally the least chill stream I've ever had in my life. Like, I was genuinely like, I was amazed almost the entire time. I was like, because again, it's hard, it's easy to say now, right? Because like everyone kind of writes off Too Mad completely, but like at that time, I had watched Too Mad's response, and I thought like he was kind of still trolling, right? Like we were like ground zero for really understanding the fact that like, oh fuck, like Too Mad is really delusional, like actually, like unironically,
kind of insane. Yeah. I mean, not kind of insane, totally off the deep end. It's
anyway, I guess if we're gonna bring it back, do you think that there's any like kind of recourse that you can take now to, I guess, basically like make the algorithm accept the video a little bit better, or are you kind of just moving on, writing it off?
I don't know. I changed the thumbnail. I changed it to look like a more typical Turkey Tom thumbnail, so I did that. We'll see if that does anything for it, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's frustrating, disappointing, angering. But I don't really know what I would do to, I don't know. Yeah. The video is what it is. Like, if I take the L on it, whatever. It was kind of an L situation the entire fucking time anyway.
Yep.
So
yeah, that's
I guess it makes sense that the video about it would have to get fucking, if there's any video to go down, it had to be that one, It had to be that one. So I don't know. I guess all I can really do is take it on the chin and move on to the next thing. Yeah, you're not going. What I'm kind of getting at is that I'm a little bit surprised that, because I would have reacted probably very differently. Like, I would have not re-uploaded the version so quickly. I would have tried to rally, I guess, some support from other YouTubers, but you just immediately moved on, which is typical. Like, let's be clear, that's a big part of why you're fucking successful. Like, that's a good trait. That makes sense. But to be honest, I'll put it to you this way. Yeah. Because I did the calculation in my head. Right. If I tweeted out trying to get this video back up, what YouTuber do you think would be like, oh, let's help? Right.
I mean, I could name names, but like I don't know, like fucking like Mudar or fucking anybody.
I feel like they wouldn't go for it because it's just a high risk situation.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's like no. Like,
yeah.
What
and
would
the
they
shit
gain?
On Twitter was like, if I tried to do that, all of the Twitter people who are mad at the video would instantly try to get it mass reported and be like, "Fuck all these people." Like
Right.
I didn't think it was beneficial whatsoever to do that. Like I didn't see it as a scenario where everybody was on my side with that and helping me out, even if they wanted to, because I think it just would be a net negative to them. Because the perception of the video is that I fucking defended a pedo rapist, and like
Right.
none of these people have made a video, dispelling that notion or going after James. So
It's
like, what?
It's kind of ironic because again, without our stream, bro, like there would be so much like that would just be lost to time and lost in mystery, right? Like we would have never seen those fucking videos. We would have never seen like how kind of weirdly kind of cruel Too Mad was to her, if that makes sense. Like
It was absolutely, yeah, very cruel.
Yeah, and it's
The thing with her is like, there's a bunch of people who are tempted to be like, she's crazy, she lied. Like, I don't think she did that much.
No, that's
I feel like what happened with her is pretty real.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, okay, there was a big moment during our interview that I think I've referenced this before, but the moment when a switch flipped in my head and I realized like, oh, she's not, at the very least, she's not lying, or at the very least, this isn't like some random bullshit that she just, made up a year later or whatever, was that Too Mad said himself that while they were seeing each other, she referenced being sexually assaulted, right? So like Too Mad said,
He did.
Yeah, Too Mad made it clear that like one of the last times that she saw him, she mentioned like, oh, you remember that time when you sexually assaulted me or whatever, right? It's like, well, if basically if she was saying that while they were still seeing each other, like that just in my mind that I don't see how that just becomes like a revenge thing, you know what I mean? Yeah, but it's a shitty situation though, because again, like I again believe there is a lot of nuance being brought to the table in this entire investigation, and you are completely right that like most people want to view this in a super binary
They don't want
way.
to listen to it.
It's like, this is gross, this is icky, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, this is fucking disgusting, you know what I mean? This is awful, this is a horrible scenario, but in reality, these scenarios, these fucking awful events that occur, very rarely do they even have a silver lining, right? Like, this is just reality. And on the internet, I feel like reality doesn't actually get rewarded that much. It's all about fucking spectacle.
No, absolutely not. Always spectacle, sensationalism, black and white is what gets rewarded. I mean, obviously, sometimes nuance can be rewarded in videos. Like, there are people who make videos that haven't. I mean, like your Sneeko video. That one, was nuanced.
Thanks, bro.
And interesting.
Thank you, man.
But it's not like you're a fucking rich YouTuber.
Yeah. Well, let's be clear. I am a man of humble means, and it would have been a lot easier to just shit out a video saying Sneeko's toxic or gross or whatever when everyone was doing it, I guess. But this is like a tendency, and this is a true thing, and it's like it happens on the right, but it absolutely does happen with like BreadTube adjacent creators. And again, it's not really about what you believe. It's like, who are you targeting, right? Like a lot of these BreadTube creators, they do take on these like red pill guys because they know that their audience will not fucking they'll eat it up, right? Like they're not like they're preaching to the choir, you know what I mean?
Someone whose video essays are definitely in the BreadTube realm and is heralded as like the best, but is also like unlike any other BreadTuber. Apart from the person who cloned their entire personality, is Contrapoints. Contrapoints is pretty fucking amazing.
Yeah, I honestly was surprised to hear you say that, because I actually I peeped the video that was talking about the drama between her and Philosophy Tube, and what Contrapoints like content are you familiar with? Like, when you say that her videos are amazing, I want to kind of understand that better, because
I really like her incel video. Incels.
Okay.
Like, I feel like the nice thing about her stuff is it's not reactionary. Obviously, she's critical, but she spends more time trying to understand the subject at hand and like the underlying problems, rather than just be like, these people should never be heard from, kill them all. Like, she's never done that, and I appreciate that. Even though like she totally could, and she would probably be relatively successful from doing that. Yeah,
this is like the idea of dismissal, right? Like, why try and understand a problem and try and mitigate the fucking whatever's causing it, right? Because it's like people point out symptoms, right? Like incels are a symptom of like alienation, like all this shit, hyper online fucking behavior, whatever. But instead of like, trying to address like the bigger things, it's like funnier to point and laugh and like dismiss the fucking incel idiot weirdo, who's cringe.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, no, I definitely.
But it's so profitable to be like, ew, and like not engage. This gives me the ick. You know what I mean?
No, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, it's literally just like, that's gross. We put that in the box that is like, oh, that's a write-off.
That's a bad look.
Yeah, yeah. And this is like a totally real thing. And it's like, again, you can say like, people who are kind of right-leaning, whatever, they'll do similar things.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not a right-wing or left-wing thing.
Yeah, yeah. It's just, honestly, to an extent, it is the internet where it's like, you get this beautiful little algorithm that will feed you more of what you like, and once it figures out what you like, you'll just find these little, creators who will basically tell you exactly what you want to hear. And I get what you're saying with Contrapoints, because it's like, sometimes Contrapoints actually does have a spicy take that like her base would like argue with her about, you know what I mean? Like she's gotten into some notorious conflicts or whatever with her own community. And
that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, I remember you made a video. I think it was like audience capture, whatever. Was that?
Yeah, I've talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it was like Skate 3 footage or some shit.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I think I think the thing with like the reason why this is like a left-wing phenomenon right now is just because, as far as the independent creator space, that's basically the majority of what you see is left-wing content creators.
Right.
Right-wing content creators kind of exist in this space where I feel like we almost view them more like CNN.
Yes.
Like Daily Wire is so like, it's so high budget. It's so like, I don't even know if fake, but it's just so produced that it's hard to even imagine these people competing in the same realm of it.
It feels,
even though they kind of are.
It's dude, you are on something there. It feels detached. And it feels like it's a level above, like it's more professional than us. But bro, the weirdest thing, and I was talking about this on Some Ordinary Podcast with Mudahar, but like this shit is just a veil. Like this is just an aesthetic. Like they make the sets and they make all this shit look really clean. Yes, because they're making a fuck ton of money, but also to sell to you, like to sell to the average viewer that like this is legitimate. You know what I mean? That idiot who's like, recording in his insane asylum looking ass bedroom, fucking playing Fortnite all day. That's a fucking scrub. That's a noob.
But the funny thing is, they also are smart enough to dip into our space, which is why they created Bret Cooper, who has like a fake bedroom set. We've talked about this before, but like, it's so fascinating to me that they just like manufactured a commentary person.
It's incredible, bro. There's so much. I would love to like fucking. I could probably talk about this for ages, but it's like, man, that is truly a testament to the fact that these like the people, at the Daily Wire, they understand that there's different lanes, right? So like again, you look at someone like Candace Owens, and she has like a nice set. She looks like she's doing her shit legit. Same with Matt Walsh, same with fucking Ben Shapiro. It looks,
they have like a very like TV feel.
Yes, exactly. And that is kind of what they're modeling after, right? Because like those people, right? Like Matt Walsh for sure, Ben Shapiro for sure, Candace Owens probably. They are targeting like, 30 up, right? Like sometimes probably like boomers, whatever. And so they know that aesthetic will work. But with Bret Cooper, this is why I think that they're such an interesting case, the Daily Wire I'm talking about, because they clearly are like actually like genuinely talented with like marketing, right? Because they understand we've nailed like, these 30, 40, 50-year-olds, whatever, or like, we've nailed like 20-year-old dudes, right? Because obviously like that is a kind of big part of Ben Shap's fan base. But
Ben
then
Shap. I've never heard Ben Shap. We're calling him Ben Shap from now on.
I think that's what my brother calls him, actually.
Ben Shap.
Yeah.
Sorry to sidetrack. I just thought that was fucking crazy.
Benny Shap. It makes him sound
Candace
like
Owens Kando.
I like that actually. It makes him sound.
Is Bretco?
I don't know. Babe, just wifey.
Sweetheart.
Yeah, this was like a big meme that Sneeko leaned into for a while. It was like just like sexually harassing the fuck out of her, and like every time she would even vaguely acknowledge Sneeko, he would just like go absolutely insane. He would come. Yeah, he would come on stream. But anyway, the what the fuck was? Oh yeah. They basically realized like, okay, we don't have young women watching our shit. And we don't have, like, maybe as many young boys watching our shit anymore because the Ben Shappers, the fucking Benny Shaps, they're all growing up.
They got fucking old.
Yeah, they got fucking old, and so did Ben Shapp. Like Ben Shapp used to look like a terminally fucking 20-year-old. Now he's actually looking a little gray. You know what I mean?
He is. Yeah.
Yeah. The fucking
salt and pepper.
The war in Israel is really taking a toll on that man. But anyway,
it is.
Yeah, but the point that I'm getting at is basically, yes, they literally manufactured this fucking woman named Bret Cooper in a factory. And I also showed you Kamala. I think it might not be Kamala. What the fuck's her name? I don't know, but PragerU.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
They did the same thing.
Exactly, but I think that they actually did it first. So, like, obviously they're kind of closely tied, Prager and Daily Wire, but it is an interesting phenomenon where they realize, like, this, and the big thing we need to understand is, like, yeah, this pops off on YouTube, but it really pops off on Instagram and Facebook, bro. This shit really pops. Like, cute girl, Instagram and Facebook, like, bro, you got the
I need to get better at blowing up on Instagram and Facebook, because that seems to be a big way to market your shit and just, like, become a household name, but I don't know how to do it, man.
Oh, bro, I mean, I'm still working on YouTube, for fuck's sake, but also, you have to keep in mind, the beautiful thing, from what I can tell, at least, is that on Facebook and Instagram, no one gives a fuck. Like, you don't deal with, like, weird drama bullshit, you know what I mean? Like, there's no, like, ecosystem, if that makes sense, that I've seen, at least.
It just gets served to who wants to see it.
Yeah. And, in the case of Bret Cooper, it's like, you got the creepy uncles, you got the young dudes who are horny, you got women. Like, bro, the amount of women who I've talked to who have talked about Bret Cooper, and they didn't understand anything. They didn't understand that, like, this girl works for the Daily Wire, and that she's They think she's just like a streamer. They think she's like Pokimane. Bro, exactly. It works. That's the thing that amazes me. It's like, it's not that obvious, right? Like, they actually mask it really well. And the funny thing that I was gonna get to with that is, like, I know, like, a gay girl who was simping over Bret Cooper. Like, I know this woman in real life, right? And that's, like, a woman who's, like, hardcore liberal, right? And Bret Cooper is completely against that. But, like, they started her out being, like, super obviously conservative. But, bro, now they are literally, like, this is what's fascinating. They literally have her covering just, like, celebrity drama schlock. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like,
she's like a T channel.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, the way that she, like, injects politics is just, like, casually, kind of, like, it's almost like a common sense politics, you know what I mean? Right. Like, they basically, like, dialed her back, if that makes sense.
And it's disgusting that they exploit women in the porn industry, and people are like, oh. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But yeah, no, I don't know. You gonna, I mean, at what point are you gonna have a kid and just, like, have them be like a little content gremlin?
Listen, I'm working on the content gremlin right now. Don't you worry. I'll update you behind the scenes, but the content gremlinism is happening. But yeah, right now I'm just I'm trying to figure out how to set myself apart from the sort of average commentary channel in my space, because I feel like a lot of people have kind of lagged behind on presentation and topics and everything, and I'm kind of trying to figure out how to make it feel less slop and make videos feel more special on the TomDark channel in particular. I'm trying to figure out how to set myself apart, and I've been thinking a lot about it, watching old commentary videos from 2016 to, like, 18. Right when people started getting face cams, then they got nice setups, like old PewDiePie commentary videos. Those are pretty good. Those are pretty fucking sweet. And nobody really does, like, everybody who's doing, like, the daily commentary stuff now, it's turned into complete slop. Like, the lowest effort you can possibly do.
I actually agree. I agree, yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out how to up that, and I have some ideas.
We've been kind of talking about it, but I will say without a doubt, Oompaville gives me PewDiePie in his commentary era vibes, like, without a doubt, yeah.
Majorly.
Yeah. We already kind of discussed that. Like, Oompaville is a dialed-in motherfucker.
He's cracked.
Yeah, he's definitely cracked at Fortnite. But in terms of 2016, like, who else were you watching, right? Like, okay, the real question is, where are you, like, what direction are you also interested in going in? Are you trying to, the big question is, are you trying to tap into the mainstream, or are you trying to bring commentary mainstream by making it, you know, just better? Does that make sense as a question?
I guess I'm trying to tap into the mainstream. I realized that, like, a while ago, I feel like commentary felt a lot more fun. And it wasn't just, like, it wasn't just covering these situations. It was also, like, meme reviews and, like, silly videos, just, like, laughing at cringe. And I feel like there's not a lot of that from our little community right now. Like, I feel like I don't see a lot of videos that are just people reacting to, like, the new cringe video. And then I was thinking like, well, we don't really have these big targets anymore. Like I mean, we kind of do, but you know, people used to unite around like Jake Paul or like Rice Gum. And it feels like we don't really, or like Lil Tay, and it feels like we don't really have those kind of people anymore who are just like so famous and so undeniable and so cringe. Like I feel like now it's like it's recentered around this lolcow thing where it's covering like these irrelevant fucking losers.
Yeah.
And obviously I like that stuff, but to a certain extent, like I kind of want to pick on a bigger guy. But even like Jack Doherty, like picking on him feels kind of old hat just because his YouTube channel is fucking not successful.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I mean,
people know about him because of commentary videos.
Yeah, and like
people knew about Jake Paul because he was fucking undeniable. It's every day, bro. 5 million in 6 months, you know?
Yes, yeah. Even Sneako's entering that range where it's like the way nowadays, the way that most people know about him is because people are just shitting on him effectively.
Yeah.
That's kind of his own fault. But yeah, go on.
Yeah. It just gets kind of boring. And also like everything has to be political. Everything's an allegation. Like back in the day, I feel like the Jake Paul shit was just like, this guy fucking sucks.
Right. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
And he was also like the most famous person on YouTube. And I question why it's kind of flipped to now like we're covering Johnny Somali, 100 viewer Andy loser.
Yeah, dude. That is fucking hilarious. It's probably, honestly, it's just because it's juicy. Like he's such a crackhead. I also agree with you though. Like I'm kind of philosophically against lolcows. I think I've told you this before, but it's like not because it's immoral or anything. It's just like in my mind, it's just boring because yes, like this is just a random loser who, you know, their life is probably not going to get better. You know what I mean? Like there's no like moral. There's nothing to take away from it. But I'm trying to understand what exactly are you trying to get out of, like I guess commentary, right? Like what. You're basically saying that you want it to be more fun, right?
I guess just the funnest, most entertaining videos rather than like moral grandstanding over like the pedophile is bad. Like we know. Yeah. And back in the day, also I feel like pedo drama was like it was like fucking rare. Like, right. It was pretty rare. But now it's like every week, all anyone's covering is pedo drama, and I'm guilty of this because I cover it because it does well. And like it's interesting and important to talk about, but like, fuck.
The funniest one to me was Chugga Conroy. I didn't report on this.
That was crazy.
I didn't report on it. I didn't really give a fuck. But the funniest thing to me is that almost every single person who watched content about this shit didn't know who the fuck he was. They didn't care. It was just juicy because it was like a Pokemon.
That's it.
Wholesome guy. Wholesome guy is into feet, and it's like that's actually not even that crazy. But obviously the receipts are kind of interesting. But like,
it's just like it's this super silly world we live in. And also, I don't know. I guess maybe I'm just pining with rose-tinted glasses over old shit, and it's not as black and white as that. But I feel like there are ideas to pull.
There's an energy that came back then that I would agree is kind of missing now. Like, okay, you can think this is a cope. You probably agree though. I'm not sure, but like, this is largely due to the algorithm, right? Like, you know what I mean? I do think so. Like, no, I'm not saying it's the entire reason, but when we're talking about the algorithm, like, the algorithm kind of really disincentivizes you to create new topics of conversation, if that makes sense. Right? Yeah. Like to start your own beefs, that's what's exciting, right? Like to start your own beefs with someone who's bigger than you, that's like hype, right? But if you're like the first person to talk about someone, I'm not really, again, unless you're exposing them. That's like, there's a difference, right? Like if you just criticize someone versus like exposing them. Exposing's like, I guess, juicy, but if you're like the first person to like shit talk someone who's bigger than you, I don't think that the algorithm would really, reward that. You tell me if I'm on crack though.
I mean, it's possible. I do notice like it seems like upward mobility can be kind of difficult. I feel like it's been a bit since I've seen like a new big commentary channel pop off.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of just like waiting for Moist Critical's take, which I usually like his takes, but
True.
I guess I just want to see some new blood.
So that's kind of what I'm talking about with the algorithm, right? Where it's like you when Moist Critical covers it's not just about like waiting for his take to mimic his take. It's more like he creates the wave and then everyone's trying to ride the wave because the algorithm will feed people like more of what they're watching, right? Like I've been a real student of the game the last fucking like 6-7 months or so. just working my way up pretty organically with like the clips channel. I understood like, oh, okay, so if I get into this topic, you know, early, before the big channels, then when the big channels release a video talking about the same exact shit, then my video will fucking ride that wave from the beginning, right? But if you're a little bit later than the big channels, then you'll still maybe get some fucking views, reliable views, whatever you would say. You won't get like massive views, but you'll be able to fucking maybe, you know, feed yourself that week,
so
whatever.
You think getting there first is really important?
I actually think that that's massively important. Yeah, you can tell me if I'm wrong, because I would very confidently say you're more of an expert than me. But what I observed with the Super Mega situation was basically, I got in early, kind of by accident. I didn't think it would evolve into anything huge or anything. It was just something for me to talk about on stream, and then I realized I would need to refine it for like a clips channel video. But then that first video I did covering it didn't do amazingly well. It got like fucking like, but for my channel size, it did great. It got 5K views when I wasn't even monetized on that channel, right? It got me to monetization, and it's like, okay, so that was good. I got my foot in the door, whatever you would say, and then I'm covering this situation. I'm getting a little bit more views each time because like there's rumblings. Then you're starting to talk about it, and suddenly I'm latching onto your fucking algorithm, and then Destiny starts talking about it, and so then all my videos are getting fed to fucking Destiny people, and then we end up like you were saying, where I'm a fucking 5,000 subscriber channel and I'm getting 70K views on this like Nick is not green shit, right? Right. So yeah. I think being early, it's not just being early. It's like priming. So I view the algorithm as literally, imagine you're like talking to a toddler. Imagine you're talking to a literal fucking idiot. And you need to make it really clear to the idiot, who is my target demographic? Who am I trying to like, who can you show my videos to? And they will fucking click it and watch it, right? And so if you prime the algorithm by being early to a topic, right? Like I primed the algorithm to know like I'm the super mega guy for whatever reason.
Right.
Then by the time that the big juice comes, the fucking big, you know, YouTubers cover it, then they'll already know. They will already have me tagged as like, oh shit, this guy's a super mega guy. We gotta fucking feed this new audience, all these people, this guy, because you know, clearly that's been working. This guy's been like, you know, he's a good boy. He's been feeding the little boys, you know, nicely.
Right. I guess you could be. I think getting to a topic first is probably important, and it's something I've always been fucking really bad at, and I need to get better at it.
Yeah, I mean,
which is why, in my infinite wisdom, I've decided that maybe I'll start another channel for the stream clips, and then I will have this channel will be like I can get out a commentary video day of when this shit goes down. I think that would fix things, because part of the problem right now is like, there's just so much stuff I have to edit for this. I have to get edited for this channel. It takes a lot of time to get like, because if I'm streaming multiple times a week, right? Yeah, it's hard. There's like hours of that to edit and like cut out the fucking swears so I can make money on it. Yeah. And then there's
the biggest thing is the communication in my mind, because it's like I work with Alex. There's a guy named Alex. He's helping me out with the clips channel. Hey, you might be watching right now. God bless Alex. But like the big thing is just communication, where it's like, I know exactly what I would want clipped, but, you know, to fully spell it out for him and to, you know, sometimes that's just like a pain in the ass, right? Whereas, like, again, with you, yeah, you're communicating with editors. If it was just you, like, I would feel like a dickhead. You would probably feel like a dickhead if you were like, okay, buddy, this juicy clip, you got to get this out by tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like,
the thing is, like, people have lives. Like,
yeah, exactly. Tough. Yeah, no, that's kind of what I mean. So, like, yeah, again, bringing it back to the super mega situation, like I basically just pulled an all-nighter to fucking, you know, release that at a decent whatever time, and so like I wouldn't ask that of other people, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it's kind of tough. You kind of need, I feel like you kind of need like a team of people who just sacrifice their fucking life.
or they're like based in fucking Europe or something, and it's like daytime when you're streaming or something.
I need those Azerbaijani editors that can pay $5 to edit my stream clips.
Yeah.
It's tough, but I think you're right probably about getting there early. It's probably pretty important.
Okay, I've been analyzing Oopaville, and I think that there was 3 things I think.
For him, he doesn't need to get there early because the videos are 40 minutes fucking long.
Yeah. No, I know he doesn't get there that early, but
he's relatively early.
But I was studying Papa Meat right before he kind of took a deviation or whatever. But Papa Meat, he kind of dialed the fuck in. He became kind of a commentary channel for a while.
Absolutely, yeah.
And he was like, again, in my mind, like, to pop off as a commentator right now, like, you need to be doing something really right, because there is a lot of saturation and fucking, like, whatever. Anyway, and the point is, though, is that obviously, in terms of style and aesthetic, like, he's unmatched pretty much, right? Like, he's got crazy thumbnail, crazy fucking set.
Yeah, it's undeniable. The animation's like very, very unique presentation.
Yeah, yeah. But I think that there was there's like a formula that I told to my Clips channel guy like many months ago, but it was something like, if you can nail, I think it was like, if you can nail 2 of these 3, then it'll work. You'll basically like the video should do well. And it was like, be early. That's one of them. Have novel or like interesting takes, something like that. Like, it's actually interesting to listen to. It's not just like pure slop. And then nicely edited. Okay. And that's obviously ignoring like thumbnail title. That's like a given that you need to dial that in. But like, in terms of content, it's like, are you early? Do you have interesting, nuanced takes? And is it edited in like a stimulating way? If you have 2 out of those 3, then you should be able to do great, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, I would probably agree with that. I would say the nuanced take is probably less important, because people honestly just like to see their opinions reaffirmed. But, I think you're right, though.
But fuck, maybe you're right. Honestly, you might be right.
I think in terms of separating yourself out, having a nuanced take and being yourself is important. But if you want to just ride the wave, I mean, there's certainly a market for that.
Yeah, that's kind of I guess you're kind of right. Yeah. I don't know, but hey, how long term do you view the YouTube game, by the way?
For me personally?
Yeah, like how long term? How like?
As long as I can do it, bro. As long as I can do it.
Okay, so you're not looking for an exit. This is like your shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I know you want to be like a filmmaker or whatever.
Yeah, but like the more that time goes on, I'm kind of realizing, or I think I'm accepting. I'm not sure exactly, but like I'm kind of accepting that like maybe this is the wave. You know, maybe the being like making movies on YouTube, maybe somehow that'll become possible, because
I feel like it's possible. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's possible. I think like I would be stupid to even think that I could succeed in like the fucking like not just nepotism, but like it is just such a different environment of like professional, studio environment. But in my mind, yeah, when I see H Bomber Guy getting fucking 20 million views on a 4-hour long video, dude, like, yeah, I mean, that's insane. And he's also getting like 80K a month on Patreon. Like,
and it's not even that crazy of a video in terms of the content.
It's
pretty like
really
simple
not.
Research to do.
It's really not. Like, I agree with you. It's not that crazy. It's
honestly perplexing to me that video did. I feel like 3 million views makes sense with 20.
This is actually becoming a topic that I really enjoy talking about with YouTubers, because the H Bomber Guy question. Okay. This is the evolution of the iDubbbz question. These are 2 questions that I have. Number 1 question is, how the fuck did iDubbbz end up getting like 27 million views on a commentary video? And of course, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, everyone talked about it. It was exciting. There was like a spectacle as fuck, right? It was like he was riding off of a juicy wave where he was uploading videos with Filthy Frank and Max Mofo, which are like 2 hilarious people that everyone says are like OGs and fucking funny.
Right.
So it's like, you add it up and it's like, okay, iDubbbz, yeah, I get how he could get 27 million views on like Asian Jake Paul, it's still insane, but it's like, bro, like people really underestimate, like when you're getting 20 million views on a commentary video, like you could have an actual, semi-feasible impact on culture. Does that make sense? Like not on like
absolutely.
Yeah, okay, you agree. Like it's like
I mean, 20 million people seeing anything is like that's more than most movies.
Vast majority of movies, bro. Vast majority, unless it's fucking Marvel, but that shit's like sanitized, right? They're not feeding you direct opinions, although of course like people will say like there's, like fucking pilled, they sneak in their opinions.
I think the thing I always say is just imagine that just 6 years ago on YouTube, a white dude was able to justify saying the N-word.
Right. I mean, and that was the reality.
And 20 million people and every YouTuber around him was like, yeah, And I'm gonna say it too. Like, what the fuck,
bro? Again, I researched that like a decent amount after my H3 video because I was really trying to understand. Again, like I was mirroring, trying to understand what the fuck iDubbbz did so right, because it's like again, irregardless of what you think of that take, it's just like nobody gave him pushback. Nobody. You had white women. I forget what her name was, but the girl who dated that emo weirdo. You might even. I don't even know if you know who I'm talking about, but he's like emo.
Jacqueline Glenn.
Yeah, Jacqueline Glenn was like kind of backing him up. I remember in some weird way. That might have been the Tanamongo. Yeah, no, the Tanamongo video is what we're talking about. Anyway,
yes.
But like, imagine that. Like, and he's collaborating with Vsauce. He's like in every
animations.
In every way, he's fucking like on top of the world. And okay,
the idea of that is so insane looking back.
It is insane, man. It's really insane. It was such a wave, right? Like, again, dude, like for me, there's very few YouTube videos that were as exciting as the Leafy video that he made, because
I like the Keemstar one. That's probably my favorite one.
The Keemstar one was very funny, yes, but so here's the thing. I've just been watching Keemstar for way too fucking long, right? So like I kind of already knew most, like, I don't know how to put it, but like I kind of already knew Keemstar was what he was and kind of liked him anyway in this like weird way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it wasn't like news to me. That's all I kind of mean. But like with the Leafy thing, it wasn't that it wasn't news to me. Like I kind of agreed with a lot of his criticisms of Leafy. It's just that nobody was saying them, right? Like nobody at that time was saying them. When it came to the Rice Gum video, I didn't even know who the fuck Rice Gum was. I didn't really give a shit, but like obviously it was, you know, interesting. But yeah, no, so like, okay, so irregardless of the fact, sure, people will say like he fumbled that, right? Like again, in my mind,
you mean the Rice Gum video?
No, sorry, he fumbled like the potential to get 20 million views with a commentary video. You know what I mean?
Definitely fumbled that.
Yeah, it's like in my mind, I understand and I empathize how you could get like spooked by that influence. You know what I mean? That's kind of, I think, what happened, right? Like he kind of references, iDubbbz references like he met kids in real life and they were like saying the M word. In my mind, that's like when Sneeko got confronted by the kids saying like all gays should die. The difference is that, you know, iDubbbz fucking like completely changed course, whereas Sneeko was just like complete cope, like fuck it, who cares? But yeah, the big thing that I would say is just that this fucking guy, like, he could have still continued the series and, you know, had this like new wave or like this new, you know, set of opinions or whatever, and potentially done like more good, if that makes sense. Like I don't know how to. Do you get what I'm saying?
He could have kept the influence and just, instead of outright being like fuck the fans, he could have just like changed course. Right.
That's kind of what I mean. Like have the journey into change be with the fans instead of like completely just like alienating them. Yeah. But anyway, that's kind of a different conversation. But like, okay, so we're talking about the iDubbbz question. I understand how he pops the fuck off. It can make sense to me, even though it's totally like a glitch. H Bomber Guy, 4-hour long fucking video. Doesn't even put Internet Historian in the thumbnail. The thumbnail is honestly kind of not that crazy at all.
It's bad.
It's not great. And the title's not even that juicy. Fans of Time hoodie. This looks sick. Is available right now. Gokamerch.com. We got Eternal Beauty right here.
Shut up, Gokanaru. The real thing you should be advertising is our brand new Hubert NPCs. Did you enjoy the Sneeko video? Do you desire the love and companionship that comes with owning a Hubert of your own? Well, then you should head to Gokamerch.com and sign up for the email list. It's easy. Just take a look at one of our satisfied customers.
You open it.
Oh! Oh, that's hard. A little bite! Wow, look at that smile. Making a friend has never been easier with our new Hubert NPCs. Sign up to the Gokamerch.com email list today so that you'll be the first to be notified when Huberts go on sale. Only a limited quantity will be sold.
So sign up. 20 million fucking views on a 4-hour long video.
Yeah.
How does that happen? I don't
know. I genuinely, I know long videos do well, but that is like super perplexing to me. And especially the topic, like plagiarism, like who cares?
Yeah, it's man, everyone I've talked to has basically said this, where it's like, this doesn't make sense. And I agree, but like there must be something to fucking pull from it. I think Nerd said something interesting, but like I'm not sure if I buy it, but it's an interesting thing to bring up. He said Nerd pointed out that H Bomber Guy made a video about vaccinations, okay? Which is definitely a bit conspiratorial, but like it is an interesting thing to consider, where basically the kind of implication is that, you know, at YouTube they just kind of must have verified him as like a trusted creator, if that makes sense, like someone who you can show the masses, right? I think there's probably some truth to the fact that you probably can't get a commentary video to get 20 million views unless you're like almost manually approved, if that makes any sense. You tell me if that sounds like bullshit.
That would make sense. So I'll tell you an experience I had recently, which I found perplexing.
Like, okay, wait, tell me first of all, the 2Matt video, like, was it almost cracking 1 million views within the first day?
It would have hit 1 million views if it was still up. Yeah, it was at. I think it was at 650,000 when it went down.
And then
less than 24 hours. So yeah.
And then the fucking shadow demons came in, and they didn't even strike your channel, but they just like gave you a little fucking light slap on the mouth.
They gave me a little nut tap.
Yeah, they give you a nut tap, and it's like, okay, so clearly, because let's be real, like, you know, however you think of me talking about this in this way aside, it's just like, that is a video that is very compelling. It has an interesting fucking kind of through line or like moral, and it did have the fucking potential to get multi-millions of fucking views, right? Like,
yes.
That was a clear instance where YouTube stepped in and they were like, no, sorry, not this one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, sorry, you were about to go on.
So I have a few interesting personal experiences that tell me clearly that YouTube doesn't like commentary channels, and it's
right.
Here's the connecting dots. Okay. First of all, you remember the old Tower Dog conspiracy about the secret meeting YouTube had about how they don't like drama, like Grade A, Under A, and Leafy?
Yeah. Was this related to Quebblecop?
Quebblecop might have been there, but this is before that. This is Empleman put this in his Leafy video.
There was okay. I remember this. I remember this. Sorry, yeah.
Okay, so I'll tell you why I 1000% believe that. First of all, on Turkey Tom, which is kind of a commentary channel, kind of a video essay channel. If you look at it, you're probably gonna get the impression it's more of a video essay channel, right? Yeah. That channel, I had no problem getting my 100K plaque or my million subscriber plaque. It was like, yep, here it is. Got it a week later. Super easy, right? On TomDark, I applied for my 100K plaque, and they said, your channel has too much advertiser-unfriendly content. So I'm perplexed by this. I go to the channel. I look at the history of it. I look at all of the videos. I'd say like 97% of the videos are green ads. So that's perplexing to me. I'm like, okay, well, what are they talking about here? And then I heard a story about someone who talked to YouTube about channels they like. YouTube was like, hey, what channels do you like? You know, like somebody who's connected on the inside, on the deep state. And they recommended me, and they showed them all my stuff. And they were like, oh, we don't really want to promote channels that that target other channels. We don't think that's nice. We don't
interesting. Okay, go on.
This is like deep lore that I was told. And so all of these dots are just connecting in my mind. And then more recently, you see the drama with Sniper Wolf and Jack's films, where I think no matter what you think, you can probably say that Jack was undoubtedly in the right? In that situation, he was wrong by Sniper Wolf. YouTube didn't say, Sniper Wolf, don't do this. They said, Jack and Sniper Wolf, we hope you both behave more maturely in the future.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
What the fuck does that mean? And when you think about it, all these connecting dots, it kind of shows me YouTube doesn't like when channels specifically target other channels and try to take them down, which is why they don't mind Critical, who does it in a very kind of relaxed, casual, today we're going to look at this silly thing way, right? They don't mind him that much. And even him being as big as he is surprising. They don't like when creators tear into other people and destroy their psychological basis, right? They don't fucking like that, and that's obvious. Which is why I'm surprised that the H Bomber Guy video did so well, but he is, you know, YouTube approved creator.
So we're throwing around YouTube approved creator. I want to understand what that even means, because I don't know. Like, I don't have proof that he's a YouTube approved creator. Yeah, I'm just assuming, because how the fuck do you get 20 million views? But I
mean, I would assume somebody that targets vaccine misinfo, disagrees with chud right wing opinions, and has been covered by mainstream media in a positive light is probably a YouTube approved creator.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. There's like enough circumstantial evidence. Yeah. So I think you're spitting. And the one thing that I would add to what you were just saying is YouTube does not like when you target, like it depends basically who you're targeting, right? So like this is a big kind of theory that I have where it's like, first of all, the big thing, this is again why, in my opinion, there has been a big shift, and I think this might be what you were talking about with the 2016 feel. I'm not really sure exactly, but like in 2016, there was more Wild West, vibe going on. It felt a little bit more savage, whatever you would say.
It did.
And so my theory is basically that YouTube doesn't like when you are talking to somebody, okay? When you're like again, they would say like targeted harassment. They prefer if you're talking about somebody because then it's not targeted harassment. You can be saying literally every fucking horrible thing you could imagine about somebody, that they're a fucking pedo, a fucking whatever. But as long as you veil it in this like narrative where it's like, I'm just talking about them, like a Sunny V2 type vibe or whatever.
It's a documentary.
Yeah, it's a documentary. You can still say all the horrible shit, but just mask it in this like almost objective tone where it's like, it's nothing personal, kid. You know what I mean? The second it almost feels like personal, it can like trigger basically this reaction. The second thing I would add to that is that it does depend on the creator. Okay, so like a guy like Sneeko, I'm gonna be real for a second. When I watched that Meat Canyon video that Sneeko literally gets like his girlfriend is getting fucked in front of him, and then at the end he gets literally torn apart. When I see that, I think to myself, yeah, that is probably harassment. Like, in like a legal way or whatever, you know what I mean? Maybe not legal,
like
but
in like a YouTube view way. Maybe.
Yeah, like in my mind, it's like, okay, I shot H3 in the head. Very different contexts, but it's like that is like not that fucking far removed. It's not that crazy far removed, you know what I mean? Like that's pretty intense, right? And that's not me saying that that video should be removed. It's just that Sneeko is a guy that you can do that to, right?
Right.
Whereas a guy, sure, like H3 or a guy like a woman like Sniper Wolf who works with YouTube, like basically, yeah, like you're kind of saying these, to an extent, YouTube approved creators, they do get treated better than the rest, right? Like, why did Psychic Pebbles' video on the Fine Bros get removed in that? I don't know if you remember, but like when
I don't remember that actually.
Okay, so when the Content Cop by Leafy, sorry, my bad, Content Cop Leafy, when that got removed, 2 other videos got removed the same day. Okay, my video on H3 and Psychic Pebbles' video on the Fine Bros. Okay, now it's weird because the iDubbbz Content Cop on Leafy, it had like 25 million views, whatever. But my video had like 1 million views, but fair enough. Like, you know what I mean? It was, the video was only a year old, whatever, sure, whatever happened. But then there's the Psychic Pebbles video, which was like 5 years old by that time. It only had like maybe fucking like 1 million views after 5 years, and that gets removed for these new harassment guidelines. And it's like, well, in my mind, like the Fine Bros are, totally like goated YouTube fucking creators, right? Like they're very close with like, the actual people who are behind the scenes and whatever.
Right.
And so, yeah, this is why. And again, I don't like, this isn't me disparaging you at all, but it's like, why does lolcow content pop off so fucking easily? And the answer
it is perplexing. Yeah. And if you look at Sunny and you compare his like views, the in-depthness of the actual topics, like he's not doing like super interesting analysis on these people. It's basically just rise and fall videos.
It's like the
if
most
you compare that to like the depth of Leafy's videos back in the day. It's kind of comparable, but the dressing is completely different. And I think that's probably why he's allowed to get away with stuff like that. And also, like, if you just look at the numbers, like, I mean, he's doing kind of similar stuff,
No, dude, I totally agree with you. And again, to bring it back to the lolcow thing, it's like, YouTube, you were saying that YouTube doesn't like drama content. I think that's not true at all. I think that they fucking love drama content. Absolutely love it. They just don't like when you meet it too much. Does that make sense?
I'm just going to get some water real quick. I'll be right back.
No, you're good, bro. No worries. Okay. I'll entertain your chat. But yeah, no. Chat. Wait, I don't know if Turkey Tom's even live, but if he's live, everybody, this is Gokanaru speaking to you. You must go to Gokamerch, GOKAMERCH.com and buy the fucking Puppet Master hat. I don't know. Just buy fucking something. I don't care. But God damn it, I'm fucking up this pitch. No! Alright, wait up. Go to Gokamerch.com. Sign up for the fucking email list. If you haven't seen the Sneeko video, we're selling the
asshole.
Oh, what's up, man? Did you have your headphones in that whole time?
No, but I caught the end of it. But
oh, okay.
Base.
Anyway,
go to Gokamerch.com.
Oh shit! Thank you, Tom. Damn.
No worries.
Anyway, but jokes aside, though, yeah, I mean, what we're basically getting into, I think that low-key YouTube really likes drama content, and the reason for that.
How long until they crack down on lolcow stuff? I feel like they're not gonna like that forever.
I think they will. We'll see. We will see, but I think that they're gonna love it forever, in my opinion. Because here's the thing, right? Low stakes as fuck. Like, these people are already losers. They're not gonna bitch to their management, right? They're like deplorables, like we were saying.
They're not in a position of power to complain.
Certainly not in a position of power, but they're also deplorables most of the time. Like, they've done fucked up shit, and nobody's like advocating for them to be protected. You know what I mean? They also, the big thing is that, well, here's what you need to keep in mind, right? Drama content is largely harmless in a like grand geopolitical or like advertiser, context.
Okay, here's a scenario I'll pose you, okay?
Let's hear.
Because I suspect that part of the reason YouTube got uppity about content back in the day by Leafy was because people like Tommy NC 2010 being bullied, right?
Yeah.
So I'll pose you a question. Let's say somebody makes a video about a supposed lolcow, and that lolcow does something very silly. Let's say they hurt themselves.
Right.
Okay. Obviously, they shouldn't do that. Obviously, that's not the creator's fault. But let's say they do that. How is YouTube going to take that when the mainstream media writes an article?
So here's what you need to keep in mind. The fucking H-Bomber Guy video. H-Bomber Guy is taking shots at a guy who's like literally 1/10 of his fucking channel size. The guy literally has a scare that he fucking kills himself, and YouTube, what do? Fucking nothing. Who gives a fuck?
That's true. That's actually okay. That's actually really real.
Yeah.
But let's say it's somebody who's not a YouTube-approved creator. Let's say it's somebody who's not a leftist, who isn't talking about the right things, who isn't saying the right things, dispelling.
You're basically saying you're basically saying like, okay, if you make a video about Super Mega and then Lex, threatens to.
I don't even think that I don't even think that I'm at risk, to be honest. I think in YouTube's eyes, I'm probably relatively safe, but I don't know. Let's just pick some. It's hard to even say a specific person. Let's just say somebody who is not a YouTube-approved creator in the slightest, who doesn't have the connections, but has a big rowdy audience, makes a video about someone, and they do something bad. How would they take that?
Okay.
I guess I'm putting some possibility out there. And
I'm trying to.
Something silly goes down. Trying to imagine if that's a scenario that.
I'm just trying to think of precedents, right? Like, I'm just trying to think of other examples of this happening. And in my head,
I guess there's not a lot.
Yeah, but the thing is that okay, the weirdest one here. Let me tell you the weirdest one that like is kind of contradicting what I'm saying. Quantum TV. Why the fuck did YouTube step in for Quantum TV? Like, who gives a shit?
Well, the reason why is because what's his name? Axeman questioned the man and showed the LinkedIn profiles of YouTube employees. Right.
Okay. So then I see what you're saying.
And they started getting they got a few mean comments and they didn't like that at all. I think that's why.
Okay, that makes sense actually. That's like more coherent. That actually makes it easier for me to understand, because it's like, yeah, did they do it because Quantum TV is like a YouTube certified creator? Fuck no. Like, the guy's he's slightly unhinged.
I don't think it was the Quantum TV thing. I think it's because he said, "Hey, YouTube, why are you letting this happen?"
Right.
And that became the problem. And
I see.
It went a step further when he started, instead of saying YouTube is a nebulous thing, because back in the day we all used to be like, Susan Wojcicki's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Used to say that, right?
Yeah.
They didn't pick the big dog. They picked like the head of trust and safety at YouTube or whatever the fuck.
Yes. Yeah. No,
I didn't like that.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's like an actual person who's not like the spokesperson. Yeah.
Like, these are like public figures, but not in the sense where like they can weather the storm of like they get a few hate comments. They're like, okay, my family's in danger.
Yes.
They're thinking.
Yeah, they're not creators, bro. They don't know what the fuck is going on.
They go Brianna Wu mode where they're like, somebody is targeting me.
You can't talk to them in terms of like iDubbbz content cop energy. You know what I mean? Like,
no,
they're like literally went to a fucking Ivy League school and have never been questioned in any like offensive way probably. But yeah, okay, so so okay, again, so that's an example, right, where sure, like YouTube itself, you know, people working at YouTube were kind of, I guess, you know, put at risk, whatever. The big thing that I'm getting at is that YouTube loves drama content, and the reason, in my opinion, that they love drama content, again, it's important that you're not talking to people, you're not like targeting them, specifically harassing them, whatever. And if you are targeting them or harassing them, they need to be just, you know, basically irrelevant or not like favored by YouTube, right? Like this is why people can say almost whatever they want about kick streamers, more or less. And whereas a guy like Oompaville, he'll upload a video on like Diddy, right? Like P Diddy. He uploads a video about P Diddy, and then he gets fucking he gets a warning. Like fuck, 5 million.
Got a warning? Did he actually?
He 100% got a warning. 5 million sub channel gets a fucking warning for reporting on Diddy. You know what I mean?
What was the warning for?
That's a great question, to be honest. He didn't go into specifics, I don't think, but
did he say that on YouTube? He
publicized
that he got a warning.
Yeah,
I didn't know that at all.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, I wanted
P Diddy. What?
Yeah. I mean, there's shooters, bro. I mean, I don't know, but what I'm saying is that there's a definite like thing where basically if someone's a loser or if they're just not super relevant, they're not like a YouTube good boy, then you can say whatever you want as long as it's not targeted too much, right? Like, again, YouTube loves drama content, and the reason that they love drama content is because you're not fucking talking about Palestine. You're not fucking talking about Ukraine, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, this is the big thing that needs to be understood. When you're talking about micro celebrities in YouTube's eyes, that's a big, massive W, because there's not going to be a fucking advertiser bitching because you're talking about fucking Boogie 2988. You know what I mean? There's going to be an advertiser bitching, and they're going to fucking limit your ads if you're talking about, you know, something that's like, you know, serious, right? Like something.
But it's like Diddy. I feel like everyone talked about that. I find that super perplexing.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to know the context as well, like better, and I might, you know, try and ask Oompaville.
Like whether like you're harassing Diddy, was that their explanation? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would love to know. It's possible that since Oompaville is pretty much like one of the largest, I guess, commentary channels, like the thing that needs to be understood is that Charlie does talk about a lot of shit, but he doesn't like show receipts that much, right? Like
he doesn't go like deep. It's pretty
yeah. Whereas like Charlie can say, you know, Diddy's a fucking creep or whatever, and that's fine. But like if Oompaville shows, you know, footage of Diddy, you know, potentially molesting Justin Bieber, then it's like, you know, that's bad. And Oompaville's also like a bigger.
Oh, did he show that?
I think he was showing like footage basically of Diddy being a creep. Yeah.
They may have considered that violent physical sexual assault in the same policy I got hit.
See, and that's just sad because it's like now we're just not reporting. This is just not reporting. Like you're not. It's basically literally telling you to your face. Like you're not allowed.
Now you can't even. You can't even show it. They show shit like that on the news.
Well, and again, this is where I get to the point where it's like you and I understand this better than fucking anybody, where there was a clear line. The Too Mad situation stopped being drama the second that we had him showing us fucking like files that were not even shown to his fucking lawyer, right? And so YouTube understands when they see that you're using these fucking, you know, this footage, they're like, oh, okay, this is no longer drama, this is actually serious, right? And you're not qualified
what I'm so surprised by is that like my other videos talking about serious stuff like this don't get hit. And this video got hit so quick, and they were so like specific and clear about the violation.
Yeah.
And when I asked them for a time stamp, they had it right away.
Look,
like, am I supposed to believe a YouTube employee saw the video and then spent the next 2 hours of their life watching it?
No, look, wait, are you trying to imply that it was automated systems or something?
What I'm saying is the opposite. Was someone like waiting?
Yeah. So this is
like,
exactly.
Did they get like a guy to like look over my shit?
Look, in my mind, it sucks because we just don't know. We have to like put the pieces together with no fucking real, you know, understanding. Because yes, in my head, it's like, okay, maybe James Key fucking preemptively told them, but we don't have any proof of that, right? That's complete speculation.
I'll put it this way, right? There are a lot of creators that I've known, and I'm not going to say their names, who have covered serious stuff, who, when they post a video, they say it's monetized green for all ads in the ad tier system and say there's nothing involving any of these topics in it, even though there is. YouTube doesn't hit those videos. They're up for years, collecting thousands, tens of thousands of dollars in ad revenue. They don't get hit. Why was this video, which was monetized green upon upload, hit so soon?
All I can say,
it's like really perplexing to me.
Well, yeah, bro. I mean, look, I'm gonna be real. Like in my mind, that's just them literally like patting you on the ass and being like, buddy, you're not a fucking journalist, okay? You know what I mean? Like, it's literally just them being like, you are not qualified to cover this, right? Like, in my mind, it's like, the fucking footage wasn't explicit, okay? Like, it wasn't explicit, and it's like, clearly the video is popping off. Clearly, like, you know, for them, it would be fine to leave it on, but again, they do not want that heat, right? Because again, probably someone or something, they understood that this was a court case that occurred. This was real evidence. You know, this was, again, not just drama. This wasn't just drama. This was real.
This is why something makes me think that somebody was like waiting in the wings for this video or something. Because I was announcing when it would come out. It comes out. It does really well. It wasn't a 1 out of 10, to be clear. This was a 3 out of 10 video. So it was doing well, undoubtedly very well, and it probably could have gotten to a 1. But it wasn't a 1 out of 10 video upon upload. It wasn't like absolute destruction of the algorithm.
Right.
So that's why I'm like, why this video? Why this video in particular?
Yeah.
And it makes me feel very conspiratorial and like schizo about what's going on.
No, and that's fair, because at the end of the day, like, you really don't get that much feedback. Like, at least I guess now they tell you which part is offending, or they told you at least. But yeah,
they won't like when I say like, because I emailed them again and I was like, hey, how does this constitute violent sexual assault? And I like explained the context of the footage, and they haven't gotten back to me. It's been a day, you know, and they were really quick with the first email. So I'm perplexed.
The big thing, like, do you kind of get what I'm saying? Where it's like, you can cover drama as long as it doesn't target our fucking special creators. Because at the end of the day, drama is not like that serious. It's not something that like advertisers will be fucking, you know, freaking out about. Whereas in this scenario, it wasn't just drama, right? Like, there is a line, and I do think, again, I stand by, like, they love drama. They just don't like when it becomes serious, right?
It kind of ties into they hit everybody a little while ago with a bunch of strikes for showing the EDP footage, even though that was on YouTube for years, and like it's on Charlie's channel with like 13 million views.
Yeah,
they hit me for the EDP footage at the time on my channel. That was, and the explanation that I got from YouTube when I basically did the backdoor explanation, whatever, was that they don't like footage that shows vigilantism.
Exactly. It's because, again, that's not drama. You are now involved, right? Like, again, it's one of these things where it's like, there's
to answer your question. Yeah, I'm trying to get an explanation. It's slow, but I'm trying to get an explanation from YouTube about it, from like a fucking person. Yeah.
God bless Wendigoon. I hope you're having a fantastic night. But yeah, no, I think it is one of these things where it's like, when shit enters reality, right? Like when our, you know, interview gets cited in a court case with the EDP thing, it's like, oh, this guy, you know, people are actually trying to confront him in real life. They just don't want to encourage, they want to actively discourage anything that could result in encouraging people to actually, you know, take initiative, right? Like to like, does this make sense? Like, I think you get what I mean.
The perplexing thing about that is the stream is still up.
Yeah,
the stream with the full footage is still up, and it has been. So something changed between that stream and now.
Yeah, no, I mean, the video I uploaded on it is also still up. I censored some of it, but like not much, fuck. It's, the thing is again, in this case, it's like such an inoffensive, in the context of the larger video, this is such an inoffensive conversation, you know what I mean? Yeah. Jesus Christ. But yeah, it's fucking confusing, man. I mean, you and I both know, like, the systems, bro, when you, again, it does come down, like, when you're not making fucking, you know, Among Us gameplay, or, like, when you're not making, like, you know, the typical kind of, I guess, Bret Cooper safe commentary, fucking, like, daily regurgitation type content, yeah, it's fucking difficult, because YouTube does not trust us. Like, they literally do not trust us. That's why they have verified sources. If you look up any serious topic, look up Elliot Rodger, look up fucking, again, I could mention any war going on. You're not going to get your fucking video featured unless you're a trusted, verified source, right?
Unless you're, CNN.
Yeah, like, I mean, and I got, this isn't just me, like, just bullshitting. You know that I'm, like, this is reality, but, like, for, like, viewers, it's like, I uploaded a video fucking interviewing a Palestinian as the shit was like, you know, I guess hitting the fan in October. And that chick just got age restricted right out of the gate. I tried fucking 5 different uploads and I just had to upload it age restricted. And it's like, fair enough. I'm a random.
But this applies differently to different platforms. Like Hassan can interview a Houthi pirate and he's fine.
Yeah, exactly. But like, look, you are correct, in my opinion, in the fact that there are trusted creators, right? Like, it's possible that H Bomber Guy is, and I think that this is like very likely the case, that H Bomber Guy is a trusted creator. Obviously, news channels, government NGOs, those are all automatically trusted creators. There are some YouTubers who can become trusted creators. Weirdly, like I think Daily Wire and maybe even Bret Cooper, I think they're trusted creators.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, which is, again, it's...
How do we get that? Do we have to have a fucking media company? Like,
bro,
how do I get this?
That's a great, fantastic question.
Because I technically on paper have a media company. Is that like, do I need to like have a front-facing media company to get this kind of thing?
I actually I'm curious to find this out because in my mind, maybe it really is just an aesthetic thing. Like maybe if you actually just...
Maybe you just have to simultaneously be covering this stuff, but also not be doing skibbity toilet drama.
That's what I'm saying.
With Nicholas Diorio Ultimate Rape Review. Maybe that's what you need to do.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe you don't open the 2-minute interview with watching fucking LA Savage or LA Beast eat crayons. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe you need to have the aesthetics of professionalism, even if you're doing work above what the average agency, bullshit is doing.
But that's the big thing, right? So that's where it's so easy to get blackpilled because it's like what you and I did that night with that 2-minute interview was journalism. You know what I mean? Like literally by definition. What you did by compiling all that information was journalism, right? And it was genuinely more work than you would usually find on these like trusted fucking sources. Obviously the topic is very different, but what I'm getting at is like Candace Owens, a famous example. Willie Mack has attested to this shit, and it's true. Candace Owens glazed the fuck out of Andrew Tate, read the the court documents, and then just blind-eyed the fuck out of them, and just completely gave him a pass. Seemingly, probably because she wanted to carve out the demographics, because she understood that Tate's got some juicy ass motherfucking demographics. And like complete horrendous journalism. Same shit with Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson goes and does a fucking interview with Andrew Tate, and he literally just gets on his knees and sucks his fucking balls. And it's like, this is who like half of America's grandparents are fucking watching. You know what I mean? Like legitimacy or trusted, verified, whatever sources. It's like this is largely a fucking veil. Like it's kind of just a big farce to an extent. But yeah, you and I are just
chat. He made an interesting point. He said, I tend to find with these things the answer is usually incompetence. The majority of YouTube's reviewers are looking at a checklist to see if your content is allowed or not. The reason it's inconsistent is luck of the draw of who reviews it. I agree. I guess the perplexing thing to me is just that the 2-minute video, like, I've never had a video treated like this. Like, it's doing very well. It was monetized green for ads. And for some reason, a reviewer specifically went to this video, went to the 107 mark in the video, and then was like, this is bannable content. Get rid of this.
Right.
Like I guess that's the perplexing thing. Like it's not an easy video to review, even if it was flagged for some reason. Like, are the bots so good that they can timestamp?
No, there's zero chance.
And then send that to them when the audio that you're actually listening to is less offending than the rest of it. You know what I mean? Like it's just very.
Yeah.
I think a manual reviewer took it down, but did they watch the entire thing? Like, because I feel like they would have to get to that part.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's a great question, honestly. It's like, this is the big thing that I default to. It's like, at the end of the day, we're not legit, like, in their eyes, you know what I mean? Like, and it's kind of, to an extent, true. Like, we are just dudes in our rooms, you know what I mean? We don't have, like, the connections or whatever to suss out what the fuck's actually going on. But yeah, that's why I ask the H Bomber Guy question, because it's like, how can we get 20 million views on a commentary video, right? Like, that is, again, I really like asking that question because I want to believe it's not just you've been selected, you are a trusted person, you know what I mean? I want to believe that there's an organic element, and there is an organic element to it, absolutely, like there needs to be. But yeah, I don't know. It's easy to get blackpilled, but I'm surprised when you said that you've never had this happen on a video.
I genuinely haven't. In such a specific way. I've never been hit with this policy violation.
What a fucking...
And the weird thing to me is that they even said to me in the email, they were like, even in context, we don't allow this kind of content on YouTube. Which tells me that, like, they knew that it was in context or something.
Yeah, you know what's sad about that, though, is that, like, you know, there's such an industry around, like, Jim Can't Swim, like, police interrogation type content, and we're just not legit enough. Like, I think that's what it is. It could be, though, I think, okay, a large possibility is something along the lines of, like, they don't want to upload content of, like, victims or whatever unless it was, like, released by a court. But at the end of the day, it's like, we got this
it was
footage
kind of released by a court at this point. Like, we got the footage and ended up in the court case. So if
exactly.
anything, it's more legitimate.
No, I 100% agree. And again, it's literally just journalism. Like, I don't know. Like, again, this is why, like, at the end of the day, like, we usually won't have problems on, like, genuine just drama content where we are not directly involved. We're not, you know, really, shit isn't that real, right? Like, most of the drama you cover and most of the drama I cover, it's like, at the end of the day, this fucking doesn't matter. You know what I mean? This is like entertainment, right? Whereas, again,
silly.
Yeah, with the 2 Mad video, it's like there was absolutely an aura where it's like, this is not just a fucking, you know, a new video. You know what I mean? This isn't just like any other video.
Wendigoon says some interesting stuff in chat. He actually makes some good points. He said, first of all, I wouldn't be surprised if they're told to check overlap of drama with potential real world crimes. And then he followed up on the JCS thing saying, JCS's whole channel was age restricted a few months back. They didn't upload for several months until a contact at YouTube helped them out. They had tens of millions of views and were left to dry.
True.
Yeah, okay. That's the thing. They got the contact, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but like that's true too. No, I think he's right, because I forgot about that. But yeah, JCS has had many problems with YouTube. So yeah, I mean, that's, in my mind, yeah, that's kind of the line, right? Like, if you're not a verified source, you are not basically given the journalism license, right? Like, so like, yeah, you see a guy like H Bomber Guy, and in my mind, all I'm thinking is, he's shitting on internet historian, but he doesn't really advertise that. The majority of that video is spent shitting on this fucking random fucking, in my opinion, yeah, okay, like mesquine, loser, whatever you would say, who has like, 400,000 subs, something like that. In a relative sense, this guy is not like, I don't know, he's not like a big target or whatever. And it's like, in so many ways, you could categorize that as targeted harassment, okay? And I understand H Bomber Guy adds fucking, you know, he adds clauses, obviously, as most, you know, people fucking tend to do. He adds clauses, but
it's not like what the guy didn't deserve to be criticized. You're just saying undoubtedly he's going to get a bunch of shit.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, even with this guy having a suicide scare, YouTube does not give a fuck. Like, they don't care. You know what I mean? So, maybe
I mean, that's what we know. Maybe if he is that in deep with YouTube, maybe they reached out to him. They were like, maybe you shouldn't do that again.
Oh, H Bomber Guy?
Yeah, like, who knows?
Maybe they like message him and they're like, hey man, you want to like take that down?
Or maybe they messaged him, they were like, can you please not do this again? I don't know. I mean, this is just completely schizo. Yeah. But so the content goes a long way. Once you get in the inside, it's mostly just the consequences of millions of hours of content a day moderated by a few thousand people. Yeah, definitely, for sure. I've had experience with the contact thing before, and it's at least given me more clarification, but I really want to get info on this video and why it was taken down specifically, and like what I can do in the future to avoid it, because it doesn't really make sense on paper that footage was something they deemed so egregious.